Well, I was living in Paris. I was there as a student, but also self-funding. So I worked at night time, and I was heading to get a taxi, and a man grabbed me. So I didn't make it to the taxi that night. What followed was really extremely violent attack. I mean, he tried to kill me straight away, but I fought really hard to get away. I knew what was going to happen. It wasn't about stealing my bag or anything like that. So I did everything that I could to get away. Basically 10 years after the attack, they caught him again through DNA. He'd reoffended, and there was a DNA match, and I was living in Europe, so I could get to Paris to do a lineup, and ID'd him. And that moment when I ID'd him, instantly, and I was like, wow, 10 years has passed, and I've remembered this man so clearly. And that's when my world just fell apart. So it took 6 years through the justice system. So for me, it ended in 2015, which was 16 years after the attack itself. The sad thing is that he's a free man. He only served 3.5 years of his sentence. So when I go back now, I have that fear in me that I might, and because I particularly really know what he looks like now, and he knows what I look like, you know, things have changed. And so I do have a fear about going back, but I deal with it one day at a time. So I thought I need to tell someone, and a story ran in a newspaper in Australia, really beautiful story, sharing, I mean, opened up, shared everything about what had happened to me. And what happened was the story spread. It came to Africa, it reached the UK, it spread to the US, and I had all these survivors reach out to me and open up and share their stories. And lots of different stories of sexual violence. Some were rape, some were assault, lots of child abuse cases, and some of them had never told anyone before. And I realized that power of storytelling, and that sport's been a really big part of my own healing. I turned to running, particularly during the legal process, and found a lot of sort of solace and healing in the running. It would clear my mind. I felt stronger physically, which meant I felt a lot safer as well. And sport's something that brings people together. It unites us. So I was like, well, why not actually use running as a way of creating this peaceful dialogue? So I'm running 16 kilometers of beach in every coastal country and dependency of the world. So it's 184 countries. It'll be over 3,000 kilometers of beach. I've run in 26 countries and on 27 beaches, so 432 kilometers. You can do it. I think, you know, I'm a real example that it's possible to venture into, you know, really remote areas and be alone, but safety is key. And I really make sure that I know people on the ground, so I always try and make contacts with people on the ground, ask a lot of questions, so find out where's safe to go and where's not safe. Two is that a lot of women aren't safe to actually go out and run. You know, they can't. I ran in the Solomon Islands in the Pacific, and one of their gold medalists is a female runner, and she can't actually train on her own. Like, she's a long distance runner and she can't go out and run on the street on her own. And finding a solution at the moment is tricky because a lot of it's still silenced. You know, we can't talk about it. And I think that's what this journey is doing. It's opening up that really big space and dialogue to say, hey, this is happening. These are the issues. This is what we're dealing with. Now let's look at what we can do to find some solutions to change it. You know, we can talk about sexual violence, but it's giving people the tools to feel like they can help others and help themselves.